Jackson. I only ever give an order once.
Hi.
I know my job, Mrs. Jackson, and I'll do it. And I suggest you keep your pleasantries for your husband.
Oh, well, you can come up and see me anytime, big fella.
No, it's easy to see while you're in here, Mrs. Jackson. You know the rules about taking out uncensored
Don't
bills?
need it.
I've never seen them before.
Well, tell her that Alex has paid her fine and that she's going to be released today.
Oh, that's marvellous.
Who told you? How did
I'm
you
with
find
the
out?
Immigration Department. Irene Zervos is to be held in custody for up to 48 hours, pending her appearance before a stipendiary magistrate.
Wow.
She's an illegal immigrant.
That has to be the quickest release back to jail we have ever had in this show. Hello there and welcome to the video. My name's SerenitySoloREACTS and here we are with Prisoner Cell Block H episode 40. Now, we're getting some male officers. I am liking this change. I'm glad. But Viva's been demoted. I'm liking this change. I'm glad. Are these male officers going to be at the forefront of the show or they're going to be stuck in the background as no-named officers? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to guess that some male officers might be a bit tougher, though, if they come from male prisons. I don't know what male prisons are in this, but I'm going to guess male officers are tougher in those prisons than they are female prisons. I don't know, never been in prison, I don't want to. So, also, Clara got shipped out. I didn't like that. I loved Clara as a character and I wanted to stay in it a while longer. This is what happens with this show. People come in, the mainstays obviously stay, and the others get shipped out. Especially the nice ones. I mean, Bitchbags Helen was in for longer than Clara was, and I hated her. Nolene didn't come back. I expected her back straight away, but she isn't back, so maybe she has gone for good. You never know. Maybe she'll go to Fairley too. So we now know there's 2 prisons in Australia. There's 2, there's Fairley, and there's this one, there's Wentworth. So, with that, I want to thank everyone who subscribed or followed to me so far. I really appreciate it. You're helping me out, you're helping the channel out, you're helping my mental health out, you honestly are. And to my Patreon members who do get exclusive shows, which should be up on a box on the screen right now, telling you what they are. 8 per month right now, going up to 12 per month later this year, and I'm also thinking of doing a long running day like Fridays are on YouTube. I think it's Fridays, if I'm wrong I apologise. And they also get ad-free and uncensored early access to my shows as well, dependent on tier. I have fell a bit behind with the Stars members, but they will be getting updated soon, I promise. So with that, let's get on with the episode.
None of the prisoner's complaints were acted upon, but he did find fault, grave fault, with the level of control I exercise over the prisoners and with my capabilities as a disciplinarian.
Why was Lizzie looking for a cockroach then?
I'd hate to tell you, but I told you so.
He has recommended some changes which materially affect you, Vera. I suppose I shall be the one to tell you.
It'd be the fair thing.
We are going to alter the system along the Fairley lines.
Fairly?
Yes. We are going to increase the number of male officers and staff.
Increase?
And
that means
I'm
I've got
afraid
some.
I'm going to have a male deputy governor. But I thought, Vera, you will still be a senior officer.
Yeah, she thought she was getting governorship. Yeah, we didn't get the clips that time. Would you prefer me to do the recap of the last episode? Or would you like me to keep the clips as they are? Let me know.
Sorry I had to call you in a bit earlier, but I want everything running as
Got the
smoothly as
preview?
possible.
I don't mind. What time's he arriving?
In about an hour? I don't know, Meg. I didn't think I was doing such a bad job.
You weren't.
The department doesn't see it that way.
I just wish the department would take notice of the changes you've made.
Perhaps a male officer is a good idea. We'll just have to wait and see. I hope Vera feels better about it this morning.
Ah, she'll get over it.
She'll be gunning for them. Day one.
Will you stop holding up the line, Anderson? And you don't need a double serve. Take some of that
Wait.
back.
Oh, Miss Bennett, I'm starving.
Well, you're not going to fade away, Anderson, are you?
Never mind, you can have some of mine.
And if you're not sitting down in a minute, you won't get anything.
Can't do
It's
that.
about time you lot learnt that this isn't a holiday camp. That's right. We all got to help Vera win her Concentration Camp of the Year award.
Sausages, toast, tomatoes.
She can see the food.
Tomatoes. tomatoes.
Right. She doesn't need an English
Oh,
lesson in here,
yeah.
Travis. Keep moving.
I think it's for telling her what the food was.
We don't spend all day eating.
Sounds like your sort of country then.
Watch it, Ferguson.
What's the matter with you, Vera? Didn't you sleep last night?
Don't push your luck, Smith.
Oh, it must have been the VJ said.
Oh, didn't they give you the governorship?
Bet you can just see yourself behind that big desk, too. Oh, that must be the sore spot.
Yeah. I wonder what he said to her.
Oh, who cares? As long as you're not in charge of us.
You're a pig, Anderson.
Oh, thank God I'm back on work release.
Would you really be offended by anything
There's not
David
much
said?
fun in the garden anymore.
Well,
Get
I thought
used
you
to it.
liked it.
Yeah, but not without you, Buck.
Well, I'm by myself at the nursery anyway, except for Mr. Butterfield. And besides, Doreen, say we were out flatting together or something. I mean, we'd still hardly see each other except when we got home from work.
Hey, yeah. Imagine that, us flatting together.
Oh, get a load of you two. You can't look after yourself for 2 minutes on the inside, let alone on the outside.
I bet we could.
Oh, what are you on about, Doreen? They're never going to let you out.
Can't you do anything without making a mess, Birdsworth?
Oh,
She didn't make
what's
a
the big
mess.
occasion, Vera? You expecting a visit from the Queen or something?
They're going to love the ideas of male officers.
You wanted to see me?
Mr. Fletcher has arrived. Sally is just bringing him up.
What do we know about him?
Well, his record's quite impressive. He had 10 years in Pentridge, and before that he was a sergeant in the regular army. He spent 3 years in Vietnam before being honorably discharged.
Very
Yeah.
impressive.
I don't have to tell you, Miss Bennet, that I want his first impression of this prison to be a good one.
I'm sure he'll find everything running efficiently, Mrs. Davidson.
If I could have done anything to stop this appointment, I would have. But as things stand, we will make Mr. Fletcher as welcome as possible.
Well, I'm all
The
for this
deputy governor
change.
of a women's prison should be a woman.
Not necessarily. Fairly and some of the other women's detention centres have several male officers on their staff.
We've got a few prisons now.
Come in.
It's
Mr.
extending.
Fletcher, Mrs. Davidson. Thank you, Sally. Welcome to Wentworth, Mr. Fletcher.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'd like you to meet two of my senior officers, Miss Bennet and Mrs. Jackson.
Hello?
How do you do?
Sit down, Mr. Fletcher.
I'd rather stand if that's all the same, ma'am.
I'm sure you'll find it slightly different working here than at Pentridge. We're a smaller detention centre, and we like to make things as flexible as possible.
So I've been told, ma'am.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind calling me Mrs. Davidson.
I prefer that.
Sorry, Mrs. Davidson. I guess I've been too long in the army.
Well, perhaps if I tell you briefly how we operate.
Yes, I'd rather see the operation for myself if that's all the same, ma'am.
Well, no, you've got to be told.
Yes.
Briefed.
Well, I'll introduce you to the women, and then Mrs. Jackson can show you around. I hope you'll be happy here, Mr. Fletcher.
Will you see this as a step down? Male prison to a women's prison? And it was the 80s.
I
Or
can see it all
79,
now,
whatever
Lizzie.
this was.
A tall, dark, handsome man is coming along to take you away from all this.
She's good.
I'd say tonight. Depends on whether you can dream him up or not.
Here, give that back, you rotten little face. I hope I choke you.
Oh, go on, Lizzie, you've had 2 helpings already.
So what? I've got to keep my strength up, haven't I?
You're all right if you begin in your stomach anyway.
Oh, it's more than I can say for you, you great big fat...
Oh, let's give it a rest.
Windbag! Shut up!
Right, settle down, please, girls. This is Mr. Fletcher. He is taking over as deputy governor.
Wow.
I want you to know that this is a departmental decision, and Miss Bennet will continue on as senior officer.
Oh, I knew it was too good to be true.
I
better
expect
than
you to help Mr.
deputy.
Fletcher in every way. And I do not want to hear that you've been giving him a hard time.
Oh, give us half a chance.
Carry on.
Yes, no name prisoner.
That must have been the tall, dark, handsome stranger you were telling me about.
I should have put my order in years ago.
He can put his uniform under my bunk any time.
I'll toss you for it.
All right, you heard the bell. Move out.
Well, Vera. Don't tell me they're waking up to you at last.
Yeah, lost your job, did you, Miss Bennett?
Now, that's what I call real justice.
Could have been better, but
Yeah, they could have fired you, Vera.
I suppose that means it's getting to her, the way they did the echoey sound there.
Wipe that grin off your face, Travers.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Bennett. I didn't know my feelings were that obvious.
Why is Karen allowed
Get out
to
of
go in civvies and Lynn has to go in uniform?
Can you spare me a moment?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I'll see you later.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye.
Excuse me, Miss Bennett, could I see Irene Zervos for a moment?
Didn't I tell you to get going?
Yes, I asked her to stay. I need a translator for the girl. Surely that's not too much trouble.
And we've started work and study release programs, so we are getting there.
Oh, don't let us interrupt, Miss Bennett.
You've got 5 minutes. I'll get the Zervos woman.
Mrs. Travers?
Is she one of the women on work release?
No, she's studying sociology.
She's married.
She was.
Do you think these rehabilitation programs work?
Well, a lot of the women don't even have an occupation when they come in here.
Yes, I take it you're referring to the single women.
No, a lot of the married women would like to learn a job too.
Now, wouldn't it be better if you teach them to look after their families first?
No.
Some married women have to work.
Yeah, but there's a difference between wanting to and having to, isn't there?
Oh, well. Careful what you wish for
I'll
again.
introduce you to Dr. Miller.
Irene, your brother and sister-in-law are going to be allowed to stay in Australia. They're not going to be deported.
But...
Australia? Actually, she already knows that. Alex and Tessa, μένουνε εδώ.
Ναι, αλήθεια. Πολύ ωραία. Έχεις μιλήσει σε κανέναν και για μένα?
I'm not sure what she means.
Well done.
Well, tell her that Alex has paid her fine and that she's going to be released today.
Oh, that's marvellous. Oh,
we need more prisoners, people.
Let me see. Fine. Alex has paid... Oh, money, that's lefter. Alex... πληρώθηκε.
Ναι, μάλιστα.
Ελεύθερη σήμερα.
But...
Σήμερα ελεύθερη. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Ευχαριστώ.
Well, I think she gets the message.
I thought you were getting deported.
Γεια σας και ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ.
So, what do you make of Wentworth?
Well, I haven't seen much of it yet.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad to see another male face around. I tend to feel surrounded. Come, make yourself at home.
Thank you.
It's his home nearly
The
filled
only
with
advice
drugs.
I can give you is that just when you think everything's nice and peaceful, you know something's about to happen.
Yes, I have a fair idea what goes on in prisons.
Yeah, I didn't mean... What made you get into this line of work, Jim?
Well, I joined the army when I was 17. I'm not much qualified to do anything else.
Was there much of a switch from the army to Pentridge?
Well, no, not really. I'm used to discipline.
Pentridge is a bit different to Wentworth, I would imagine.
I hope it lightens
There's a
up.
lot more freedom here, for one thing.
So I've heard.
Why did you want to transfer here? Was it a promotion?
A promotion? To a woman's prison?
I thought he'd
Lizzie,
look
when are you
down
going to
at
learn
it.
to knock?
Oh, there you go, Doc. Had me hands full.
How did you open
Mrs.
the door
Jackson
then?
thought you could do with a cuppa.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Josephine Birdsworth. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Fletcher. Oh, it's good to see a strong young fella as deputy governor,
Especially with that old bed.
Lizzie.
I'll just fix your tea. Black with a bit of sugar.
Yes, just...
You can always tell a man by the way he takes his tea. Strong with a bit of sweetness.
The doc here, he takes white with 2.
Oh, he's a real sweetheart.
I've got to apologise, Mr. Fletcher, for the way some of them women acted out at breakfast. Some of them wouldn't know how to behave like a lady.
Out, Lizzie. Out!
Come on, she just made you tea. Be nice. Would you drink tea
Get
made by
used to
prison?
Lizzie. She's almost part of the furniture here.
I wouldn't.
Well, she seems a harmless enough old lady.
Yes.
He doesn't know Lizzie, does he? She may be harmless, but
I thought you were showing Mr. Fletcher around.
I left him with Greg for a few minutes.
What do you think?
I don't know, really.
You don't sound so keen.
Well, I'm not overly taken with him. He probably needs time to settle in, that's all.
He shouldn't be here, and you know it.
Would it have been any better if a woman had replaced you, Vera? I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yes, you did.
Let's just give him a chance.
I know these women better than anyone. They'll be out to con him. You wait and see. I've got more experience to do this job than anyone. They had no right to replace me.
You're probably right.
He used to be in the army, though. He might
But
not
he
be
won't
easily
have it so
conned.
easy. I know his type. Thinks he knows it all. Likes to feel important.
You're the officer of the day, aren't you, Miss Bennett? There's a woman at reception waiting to be released.
I'm going there right now, thank you.
I'll see the work areas now, thank you, Miss Jackson.
If you like.
Sign your name, will you? Your name. Will you sign it?
Do that.
Your name.
Yes. Oh, funny how she understands when she wants to. Come on, I'll show you to the gate.
Let's sign her name.
Well, hurry up. Come with me.
Yes, goodbye.
Bye-bye. Good luck.
I hope that was directed to
Well, I
Vina.
reckon he's a real gent.
Oh, you know.
Oh, I know a real man when I see him, and he really is that kind.
You figured that all out by yourself, did you, Lizzie?
Well, I don't care if he's got 4 heads, just so long as he made Vera feel rotten.
Well, what do you think about Mr. Fletcher, B?
Oh, give us a go, Doreen. I've only seen him once. I shall reserve my opinion until we get to know each other a little better.
Well, I really know him, and I can wind him round my little finger.
Laundry?
You don't really
Mrs.
know
B.
him.
Smith?
You had one
Monica
conversation.
Ferguson, Doreen Anderson, Lizzie Birdsworth.
Oh, we've met already.
Janice?
Yes, it's all right, Mr. Jackson. I'm sure I'll get to know them all in time.
That depends on how well you want to get to know us.
Ferguson, you've been behaving yourself for the last few days. Will you keep it that way? You're up before the parole board tomorrow.
Oh?
Here, I'm a queen bee around here. Sort of union boss.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Smith, isn't it?
Mrs. Smith.
So as far as I'm concerned, Mrs. Smith, the officers are in charge. And you'll certainly remember that while I'm on
Have
duty.
we got another Vina?
Crikey, he sounds just like Vera.
And he better looking.
Doreen, aren't you supposed to be in the garden?
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, Mrs. Jackson, I got lonely.
All right.
No, just a minute. You'll work where you're supposed to work.
Oh, but...
In the garden.
It's all we needed.
fair.
I wanted another
Everyone
Meg.
picks on me.
Mr. Fletcher?
Oh, well, you can come up and see me anytime, big fella.
No, it's easy to see while you're in here, Mrs. Jackson.
Well, up you.
He's not going to be easy to handle.
Well, I think he's real nice.
Oh, shut up, Lizzie. Just so long as he stays out of my way.
Have they come to deport her?
You're under arrest. Just hold on to that.
Oh.
Who told you? How did I'm you with find the out? Immigration Department. Irene Zervos is to be held in custody for up to 48 hours, pending her appearance before a stipendiary magistrate.
Wow.
She's an illegal immigrant.
That has to be the quickest release back to jail we have ever had in this show.
We had no alternative but to wait for you.
If there was an interpreter assigned to the prison...
Well, there isn't, and I am not about to discuss policies with you. You'll have to explain the situation to her later.
Why has she been brought back here?
Because the Immigration Detention Centre doesn't have the room available. With Arena's record, she will be detained here until her hearing.
What happens to her then?
If the magistrate finds that she's an illegal immigrant, and there seems no doubt that she is, she will be served with another custody warrant.
For how long?
7 days. Until the minister in Canberra decides whether or not she's to be sent back to Greece.
And just exactly where will she be detained, Mrs. Davidson?
Here, or Fairley, or a detention centre.
Why can't she stay with her brother, for heaven's sake?
I don't make the rules, I
Flight
follow
risk.
them. That will be all, Karen.
Oh, run risk.
Irene?
could get into New Zealand? Can Australian
University seems to be agreeing
law
with Karen
affect
Travers.
New Zealand?
They don't all end up radicals.
I did. At least my father thought so. Then he taught me that if I wanted to change the system, I should join it.
What is
Try
it like
from
the UK and
inside.
Southern Ireland?
How's Mr. Fletcher's first day going?
He's efficient.
Well, I'd better see him before I go home. Would you get him for me, please, mate?
Give us two, money. Hey, Fletch, how about a light for a load? Look, you know, I must be terribly hard to keep your eyes off us lovelies, but couldn't you leave us alone for a few minutes?
I'll stay here for as long as I see fit.
Got a right one here, girls. Fletch the Lech.
Yeah, he made me work in the garden, a pig.
Well, couldn't you talk to the governor?
Oh, yeah, I reckon.
Hey, Mr. Butterfield was away for the most of the day. I had the whole nursery to myself.
I
What happened last time?
myself.
Oh, I don't mind. Gives me time to think.
Didn't take you long to get back in here. You're going to have to learn to keep off the streets, kid.
Shut up, Monica. It looks like she's going to be
I thought you were going to say it.
She's an illegal immigrant.
And they keep her in for that?
She broke the law.
Yeah, well, maybe she'll be better off in her own country anyhow.
How'd they catch up with you?
Irene thinks the man that blackmailed her into prostitution found him.
Oh, bloody lagger.
What's the matter, Mr. Fletcher? You got something against a girl earning a living off men?
How low you women want to sink is up to you, until you end up in here.
Sadly, but I think brothels should be legalised,
You out, Fletch.
so they could be
And now I know.
protected.
You're one of those male chauvinist pigs, aren't you? Hey, girls, of all the men we have to end up with a male chauvinist pig.
I just want to say I wouldn't be
You've got a lot
visiting
to
them.
learn, Fletch.
Mrs. Davidson would like to see you, Mr. Fletcher.
Hey, Mrs. Jackson, can't you tell this perp to leave us alone and give us a bit of privacy?
That's quite enough, Bea.
Yeah, we don't want him gawking at us all the time. He gives us the creep.
Yeah, go on. Can't we have a bit of time to ourselves?
I wouldn't be too hard on
I'll
him.
put a sock in it, Lizzie.
What was that all about?
I've handled tougher characters than that.
Look, the women aren't used to being
But this is not a
supervised
political
24
channel,
hours a day.
so sorry about that.
Don't tell me my job, Mrs. Jackson.
Believe me, I wouldn't dream of doing a thing like that. Look, there are times when there's no signs of trouble. The women don't have to be watched quite so closely.
That's just the time you should be watching them.
I'm only trying to make it a little easier for you and perhaps a bit more pleasant.
I know my job, Mrs. Jackson, and I'll do it. And I suggest you keep your pleasantries for your husband.
I have to agree with Mrs. Jackson. However, I am aware there are certain elements which need to be watched. But on the whole, I prefer the women to experience a certain amount of freedom, particularly in their leisure time. They appreciate it, and it is rarely abused.
It's at times that it is abused that I'm concerned with, Mrs. Davidson.
Nevertheless, it is the way I like this prison to be run.
With respect, ma'am, I don't agree.
You are entitled to your opinions, Mr. Fletcher, but may I remind you, you are now working in a women's prison. You are not in Pentridge nor the army.
I didn't ask for this transfer. I was given this job because the department wasn't happy with certain incidents.
I know very well why you were transferred, Mr. Fletcher. But as long as I am the governor here, I will make the decisions on policy. Now, I suggest you go home, and perhaps tomorrow we can start off on a more even footing.
Is he going to quit by the end of this episode?
Ladies,
He's making an impression.
You could say that.
Oh, by the way, I have the Voss's deportation order. She leaves tomorrow. Take care of it, would you?
It hardly seems fair, really.
Sitting on a court case.
It's the law.
I just put some dirt in it, that's all. Do you reckon it'll live?
Oh, well, it looks all right. But if it doesn't take, we can plant it in the garden. You're getting quite a green thumb.
Yeah. Hey, do you think you could bring me in some more? We could really do the room up.
No, Vera'd only ripped them out like last time. We're lucky this one's still alive.
Are you two gonna keep yakking all night? Oh, belt up, Lizzie. We hardly ever get to see one another.
If you ask me, it's the other way around.
Well, nobody asked you.
Well, I'm a bit tired anyway.
Oh, okay.
Night, Doreen.
Night, Lynn.
Is she going to do something to make Lynn stay?
Morning, Jim.
Morning, Greg.
How's it going?
It's early days.
Listen, feel free to drop by my office anytime.
But it's walking like he's in the army.
Yes, I might just do that.
How are you getting on with the other officers?
We understand each other. Have you always been the only man on staff here?
No, Bill Jackson worked here when I first arrived.
Jackson?
Yes, he was Meg's husband. He was killed quite a few months ago in a riot.
Oh, hell. Yes, I remember it.
Yes. Yes, I'll let her know.
Oh, Irene.
Goodbye.
Thank heavens I didn't miss you. Good luck. Kali Tihi.
Won't be seeing her back.
Sorry?
When you're quite finished, Travers.
Mr. Wilson rang. He can't pick you up today.
You've been stood up, have you, Travers?
Morning.
Morning.
I'll take over, thank you, Miss Bennett.
Oh, you say you've lost
I think
one.
I know the procedure.
Hardly be smuggling anything out in books.
How are they smuggling things out?
Come on.
I'd rather Miss Bennett did it.
Hand it over.
Women don't like men going through their handbags, or is that how you get your kicks?
You know the rules about taking out uncensored
Doreen did it.
I've never seen them before.
Tell your story to the governor.
Oh, Doreen tonight, bitch.
They're not mine. You've got to believe me. I don't even know where they came from.
Who gave them to you, Lynn?
No one. I've never even seen them before.
Who wrote them?
They're unsigned and printed. We'll never be able to trace them. Did you read these letters?
How could I? I didn't even know they were in my bag.
Then why do they say you'd be the contact to smuggle things out of prison?
Oh.
You must have known.
I didn't.
Why out, though? What can they smuggle
Please,
out?
Mrs. Davidson.
Why would you risk losing your job over something like this?
She didn't.
I haven't done anything.
Wait outside.
She believe her, but he's going to pipe up.
Of course she's guilty.
Well, I believe her.
Those letters were found in a bag, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, someone could have put them there.
Why?
I don't know, but Lynn Warner has proved to me she can be trusted.
Nobody would write those letters unless they knew they were going to be posted.
I agree.
I think she should be disciplined.
Very well.
Oh,
Hey, why aren't you at work?
They've stopped me going.
Why'd they do that?
They said I was smuggling out letters. I don't know how they got there, Doreen, but no one will believe me.
I believe you.
Who'd do a thing like that?
Don't you worry. We'll get the bitch who done it. Some rotten mongrel's gone and set you up, Lenny. We'll find out who done it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm stuck in here for something I didn't do. Every time something happens in the place, my work release gets stopped. I'm going to lose my job for something that isn't even my fault.
don't try topping yourself again.
I hate this place. I hate it.
I suppose you think you're all clever not signing those letters. Covering yourselves in case she got caught. Well, she did. And I'm sure now the governor will think twice before trusting anyone else. Stupid little fool. You're all stupid. Ferguson, you're up before the parole board in half an hour. Don't be late.
Are you kidding? I'd even say you ought to be back as deputy governor to get me out of this hole. And if I didn't choke while I was saying it.
I wouldn't count on being paroled if I were you.
Wait till I get my hands on Warner.
Well,
Leave her, please.
I don't reckon she had anything to do with it.
What are you talking about? She smuggled in that yeast for me, didn't she?
Only because you started throwing your weight about, you hefty great elephant.
Listen, if I wasn't getting out of here soon, I'd knock your block off, you old crow.
No, you've only got 3 weeks to go anyhow.
Yeah, well, that's 3 weeks too long.
Well, what makes you think they're going to give you a parole?
Stop beating your
Because
husband
Mrs.
up.
Jackson said if I pulled my socks...
What, after you almost killed her?
Yeah, well, that was an accident. She's not one to bear a grudge. Anyway, they didn't put B in solitary, so why should they just pull the plug on me?
Because I've done a deal with the governor.
I thought they got 2 days.
Well, I just wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
I could just see the look on Fred's face when I walked through the door. What a celebration.
Can you imagine if she shacked up with somebody else?
He's gonna take you back after you almost knocked him senseless.
Yeah, well, he always has before. He reckons he can't live without me.
That's because she's shaking his brains loose.
The only person that would have done it is that Mr. Fletcher.
Yeah, that'd be right. He'd be just rotten enough to do something like that.
Oh, we'd do nothing of the kind.
Then why wouldn't he let Miss Bennett search me?
They'd have been found no matter who searched you, Lynn.
You should see the way he looks at us, Doc. He's cold, you know, real fish, not human.
Oh, stop exaggerating, Doreen.
And that should settle you down, Lynn.
I'll see she's okay. Come on, Lynn.
I'll never believe
If he
that.
didn't do it, then who did? None of the women would have.
Jim certainly seems to have made an impression on those two.
Well, they're not the only ones.
Yeah, well, I'll admit he's not an easy man to get to know. I'm sure he's honest.
Oh, he wouldn't have done that to Lynn, I know that.
Do I detect a note of aggression?
The man's a pompous, over-disciplined bore, Greg.
Are they still
What's
friends
in
for
the rule book?
benefits?
That's the law, and he's going to lay it down. Forget the individual; they don't count. Women are beneath him. Did you know that?
come on.
And as for working wives and mothers, oh, forget it. They're not in his set of rules.
Meg, what's he been saying to you?
Well, maybe he is right. I didn't do a very good job with Marty, did I?
No, you've cast him away.
Oh, I'm
Not the woman's
sorry.
gone.
I'm not lashing out at you.
I know that. This is a side of you I don't very often see. I rather like it.
I missed you last night.
Me too.
Hey, Doc!
Nope.
Lizzie, how many times do I have to tell you to knock?
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Jackson. You know, Bea told us there was something going on between you, but we thought she was pulling our legs.
There's nothing going on.
Oh, you can trust me, Doc. I won't open me mouth.
What do you want, Lizzie?
I forgot.
Don't read into a situation which isn't there, Lizzie.
Oh, me? Never. Oh, Mrs. Jackson, you forget I was even here. I never seen a thing.
Straight to the other women, tattling.
I saw them kissing, I tell you. Oh, they're in love. You should have seen the way he was holding her real close.
Yeah, well, good luck to her.
I mean, there's a time and place for everything. I mean, somebody might have just walked in and caught them.
Stupid flaming idiots!
Think
They
that
can run for all I care.
You should have expected it, Money.
You screws are all alike, aren't you? Jackson must have known I wouldn't get out. Getting me to act like an angel.
Oh, what's 3 lousy weeks anyhow?
Oh, yeah, come on,
Well,
Fergie.
listen, it might mean much to you, but it sure as hell does mean something to me.
Well, yelling's not going to change anything.
I'll yell if I bloody well feel like
I'm
it.
glad
Mind your
Amelia's
language,
gone.
I'll see that you spend part of that time in solitary, Ferguson.
You would, you bloody bitch, wouldn't you? Well, I'll give you something to complain about.
Frankie Part 4.
Run for all I care.
You're not making matters worse, Ferguson.
Oh, well, push your face in, you bitch. You run bloody bitches, the whole bloody lot of you. I hate this place.
You're going to be sorry, Ferguson. I'll make sure of that.
Not as sorry as you be, you bitch. Oh, you bloody rotten liar.
What's going on?
Ferguson's going crazy. You can't go in there.
I never get out of this bloody rotten stinking place. Promises.
Don't hit her.
I promise you this and they stop everything.
Ferguson, stop that right now.
Thought you were going to throw it at him.
I am fed up to here with being given bloody orders.
I haven't even begun yet. To begin with, clean up this mess. Now!
Mate. Come on. Mate.
One thing you better learn about me, Ferguson. I only ever give an order once.
Hi. He didn't really do anything. He just stepped aside.
Every time one of you brainless idiots loses your temper, we get stuck with the cleaning up.
Okay. I was very impressed by the way you handled her, Mr. Fletcher. That's exactly what's needed around here.
More strong-arm tactics, you mean?
Well, it's just that we haven't had anyone capable of putting a stop to an outburst like that.
I hope, Miss Bennett, I never have to do that again.
Some of the women deserve it.
Are you excusing physical force?
Of course not. And I will have to report this assault to the governor.
What's
She
an
doesn't
assault?
approve of such things.
And what about you, Miss Bennett? Do you approve of such things?
You're the one used to bashings. Isn't that the way you did things in Pentridge?
Mae's
Well, if
hating
you
this.
wanted to take it out on something, why didn't you attack the washers and then we could have gotten out of doing the work?
Since when have you done any work anyway?
Laughing
What is so funny?
I reckon Fred should have been here to see you get laid out. They could have seen you getting what you normally dish out to him.
Miss Ferguson, I'd like a word with you, please. Outside.
This gorilla tries thumping me again. I want witnesses.
You only got to yell.
Well, if he's being respectful, he's calling her Miss on the surname.
What's happening? I can hear him talking, but I can't hear what he's saying. Monty's not saying a word.
Can we see?
Shh, they're coming.
I reckon it looks like shock set in. He apologised. What? Said he hoped he hadn't hurt me.
There you are. I told you he was a gentleman.
He reckoned he should have been more sympathetic to why I was so mad. Oh, yeah? Well, I reckon you've had all the sympathy you're going to get for today.
Well,
All
no.
right, everybody out.
You went for him.
Hey! Hey, who's going to help me clean up this mess? I should ask your friend Fletch.
So maybe it's just this hard because you don't like being sent there, and it's going to soften up.
But I want to get this bit looking good. It's kind of a help having you
It's
out
going to turn
lately.
from Vera to Meg.
Hey, Warner. You've really gone and done it this time, eh?
I didn't do it, B.
Oh, I suppose they got in your bag by themselves.
Lynn's innocent. Fletch planted him on her.
Oh, bull. No gentleman would do a thing like that.
What are you standing up for him for? You don't know what he's like.
We know enough. Mind you, I wouldn't mind learning a bit more about him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't.
You know, you got to learn not to be so stupid, Warner.
I'll leave her alone, B.
Are you threatening me, Doreen?
Oh, afternoon, Mrs. Jackson.
Lizzie? How you feeling, Lynn?
Fine, thanks.
Any trouble? Looks like spring's come round early this year, wouldn't you say, Lizzie?
Yeah, and some people fall for each other any
Be
old
nice
time.
to her.
Yeah, or any old where.
She's going to end
That is the one thing I
this.
will not tolerate, Mr.
The
Fletcher.
the doctor.
These are women, and there is no excuse for physical force under any circumstances.
I didn't exactly hit her, Mrs. Davidson.
Bring her in, Miss Bennett. Whether you hit her or not, she could have been seriously hurt. Do you want to lay a charge against Mr. Fletcher?
It's physical
What good would
intervention.
that do?
You still
Physical
have your rights
intervention,
here,
though.
He never hurt me.
You don't have to be afraid, Ferguson. Tell the truth.
I asked for it. Pity my Fred hasn't got a few of your guts. Could respect a man like that.
That'll be all. You
She
can go.
wanted rid of him.
Well, if there are no charges, Mr. Fletcher, we'll forget the matter.
Ma'am,
But-
I'm not excusing myself for what I did, and I'm certainly not proud of it. I'm not in the habit of knocking people around, especially women.
They should be allowed to defend themselves, though.
Thank you, Miss Williams. A new prisoner has arrived.
Oh.
Perhaps you would like to take Mr. Fletcher with you. Show him the procedure we follow.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
How long's this one in for? 2 episodes? 3?
We have a right to live our own lives. It's our business, no one else's.
I just don't like people talking about me, that's all.
There's nothing to feel guilty about, Meg.
I know.
If you're happy, let them
Sure.
say what they want.
I just feel so humiliated.
Look, we've got... You don't just turn your back on feelings. We're mature people, and we've got something rather special going for us. Now, what's to feel humiliated in that?
One of us is a little more mature.
Meg, does it really matter that
Age.
much?
Joyce Deirdre Martin, you've been
I
sentenced to
mean,
6 months imprisonment,
them-
having been found guilty of
I'm gonna wait.
accessory after the fact in relation to an armed hold-up and receiving of stolen goods. Is that correct?
That's right, love.
I'm sure
You'll
this
address
is
the officers by name.
just a
The
stepping
title of
stone
Miss or Mrs.
for soap stars.
Which one are you, love?
Over here, Martin.
So what's your name?
Fletcher.
You know, there's something familiar about you. Where would I know you from?
I'm quite sure we've never met.
Oh, I never forget a face. Always forgetting names, but never a face, love.
Miss Bennett, and
I
you'll
think it's
remember
Eileen.
it. Whatever you
It looks
say.
like her.
Hey, I've got it. Do you remember Harry Martin, always in and out of Pentridge? My husband. And you were one of the screws. Oh, Struth, that's right. I was always popping in to visit Harry. See, there was something he told me about you. Now, what was it?
I'm sure I don't know.
Nah. can't
Blackmail
remember.
again?
It'll come to me.
Bashed up a prisoner? Killed a prisoner?
Oh, come on, B. You shuffled the flaming spots off him.
Hey, Dawn, how about making up a foursome?
I'm giving him up.
What's got into her? As if I didn't know.
I wonder what's wrong with Karen. She was so quiet in the dining room, sort of upset.
Don't know why she should be. Everything's going her way.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, Lynn, you'll be okay.
Ladies, this is Joyce Martin. This is B. Smith. She'll show you around. Oh, Mrs. Jackson, thought you might like to know I won't be seeing my friend for another 3 weeks.
Sorry.
Be okay if I had other interests, like other people I could mention.
I did the best I could.
How does that saying go? A doctor a day keeps the blues away. Cut it out, Monty.
You were doing it in the garden.
Got any fags? This is Lizzie. This is Monty.
Pleased to meet you.
G'day. What'd you get?
6 months. What for? Spending some of my husband's money.
You want to let us in on the joke?
Well, he pulled a little job. I needed some money for housekeeping. They caught me.
Well, what did he get?
For once in his life, he didn't get caught. Mind you, I shouldn't complain. Been living off his jobs for 15 years. Ever been in before? Yeah, once. Served 2 months when I was, 17, I think I was. Yeah, this is my lucky day.
I'm sure Money could see those cards.
She gets 6 months and it's her lucky day. Now I've heard it all.
I couldn't be happier.
Why?
I can't figure it out. Why should someone be so happy about landing up inside? There's more to her than she's letting
She'd
on.
like to get somebody.
What do you reckon, Dor?
Huh? What was you saying?
Oh, forget it. I might as well talk to me bloody self.
I'm guessing Lynn can't really hurt herself since she's got 2 cellmates.
You okay, Lynn?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Let's wait for them both to be asleep. Is she going to try and get off of there? She's still got a tiny bit of Frankie inside her. She's got to be feeling guilty, surely.
Mr. Jackson, I've been doing some thinking, and well, I owe you an apology. And what I'm trying to say is, do you mind if we start again?
All right, Mr. Fletcher.
Ferguson? Morning.
Morning, Mr. Ferguson.
You seem to have won a house.
I do like how he calls them Mrs. or Miss. I like that. Oh, he's going to like this, though.
Come on, you two, up you get. Morning, Lizzie.
Oh, just once I'd like to be allowed to sleep in.
Get out of there.
Does he have to come into our rooms?
Hurry up, Doreen.
What are you staring at?
I'll have none of that in here, Anderson.
None of what? You're a perv, Mr. Fletcher.
You're disgusting.
Mr. Fletcher.
See, he's back to being Vera.
What would he know?
How can you possibly turn a blind eye to that sort of thing?
I don't think it's too harmful, Mr. Fletcher.
It's got to be stopped.
I think you're reading too much into this.
Let's believe.
Sometimes it's just for little love and affection. I don't think that hurt anyone.
But they didn't do anything, though.
Out in my book, and between women, it's sickening.
There are a couple of young girls who are no doubt holding on to each other for a little comfort. I don't classify them as homosexuals, and I certainly won't judge them.
You know, love is love. As long as you're not hurting anyone and it's consensual.
Life, eh? Not a care in the world.
Shouldn't be judged.
Sleep well?
Ah, like a log.
Yeah, I didn't. I was awake all night trying to figure out why anyone would want to spend 6 months in here.
You can put up with anything if you got something special waiting for you outside.
Yeah, well, I got Fred, but I still want to get out of here.
I'm used to not seeing Harry. In 15 years of marriage, you spent 8 inside. No, I've just discovered more important things in life.
I've got to have been in here too long. Harry finally hit the jackpot.
Look at the
Got
positives.
away with over $150,000.
Double bed to yourself when he's inside.
Armoured truck job. Trouble is, he had to get away in a kind of hurry, so guess who had to look after the money? I'm the only one who knows where it is. And that little secret I'm keeping right to myself. I got 6 easy months figuring out how I'm going to spend it.
Don't take any notice of him, Lynn.
I said something frozen though, won't they?
Me. So what? We didn't do nothing wrong. Don't you like me anymore?
Oh, of course I do. It's just
Yeah, well, we got nothing to be ashamed of, and we shouldn't worry about what people think.
I guess I always have.
Yeah, well, let them think what they like. You got to learn to stand up for yourself.
Thought you'd like to hear about your job in the nursery, Warner.
Yeah?
Mr. Butterfield rang.
Oh, I can go to bed.
No, wait.
You're finished.
Doreen, you stupid cow. Who hates Doreen right now? Put your hands up. Oh well, it's finished. Like I said during the episode, I do hope Fletcher softens up a bit. We don't need another Vera in there. I mean, Vera's enough. I want a few more Meg kind of characters. Yeah, I do agree with Vera on one hand that women are there, well, not just women, anyone in prison are there to be punished, well, mostly. I do agree some innocents will get sent in, but they're there to be punished. It shouldn't be like a holiday camp. You know, maybe TV, but nowadays it's Xboxes and stuff like that, or consoles, depending which ones I get. I'm not going to go too into my thoughts, but when you're in there, like Erica said, you've got rights, you've still got rights, you're still human. You should still treat him with respect, which is why I like him calling him Miss or Mrs. surname. I do like that. I mean, it'll probably change, but maybe you'll start using first names. I don't know. Sign out. So yes, as I was saying, if he lightens up a bit, I may start liking him. More Megs, less Veras, please. I don't understand why she's so happy. I'm gonna guess there's more to it than what it is. I don't think it's all about money. But what secret has he got? Did he accidentally kill somebody? Fletch, that is. Or not all what they're making out to be? Has he got a deep dark secret that we've got to discover? Maybe Erica will get her wish and it'll, well, and Vera, and he'll get rid of and it'll go back to being an old women's prison. I'm all for equality. I'm glad there's a male screw here, so to say. I want him to bring more males in, but I want more females as well, don't get me wrong. I don't want more males. Physical intervention is needed. I mean, maybe if they used that before, Bill would have still been alive. I do believe in physical intervention in defence. That's all, defence. You can't just walk into the laundry and go. The next lot of episodes, 4 episodes, I have on a disc that's labelled PG, so I'm not expecting a lot of action there. Maybe it's going to set up to the disc afterwards, that's 12. But if you did enjoy this and you haven't subscribed or followed to me so far, can I please ask you to do so, whether on YouTube or Dailymotion. Australians can only see this on Dailymotion, I'm afraid. It did get blocked for you on YouTube. This cannot get monetised or seen in Australia, so If you are getting ads on these videos, please let me know, and I promise you it is YouTube that's doing it, not me. I'm going to say this in the intro of the next one too, just because people do skip these, and I'm hoping people will see them. Mind you, if people complain, and I have mentioned it, it's not my fault. But let me know if there are ads on it, please. If you have already subscribed or followed me so far, thank you ever so much. You're really helping me out, you're helping the channel out, you're helping my mental health out, you honestly are. And to my Patreon members who do get exclusive shows, which will be in a box right now on your screen. 8 per month right now, going up to 12 per month later this year. And I'm also thinking of doing a long running day like the Friday YouTube shows. Murder She Wrote will be on there, probably Dallas, and quite a few other shows. Well, 2 other shows. As well as 2 Patreon choice days and commission days from Buy Me a Coffee, and also ad-free and uncensored access to my YouTube and Dailymotion shows as well. No blurring, no bleeps, nothing. It'll be ad-free and uncensored completely. It is you that is bringing the content to me to allow me to bring the content straight back to you. Thank you all ever so much. I love you lots no matter what tier you are. So with that, I shall sign out now and move on to the next one, and I hope to see you there. Goodbye.